Welcome back, everyone. Today's topic is particularly intriguing and, if I'm honest, quite disheartening. Have you ever found yourself baffled by the sheer audacity of a narcissist's hypocrisy? You know, those people who seem to embody the very definition of do as I say, not as I do. It's as if their lives are a masterclass in contradiction, where their actions are a far cry from the moral standards they so fervently preach. Today, let's dive deep into why narcissists are masters of hypocrisy, exploring how they manage to live such double lives, and why their behavior is simultaneously so perplexing and magnetic. If you've ever been in the orbit of a narcissist, you've likely encountered their unique brand of duplicity. They often set themselves up as paragons of virtue, laying down moral laws and standards that everyone else should follow. However, behind the scenes, their behavior tells a very different story. It's a paradox that can leave you scratching your head, yet somehow you might still find yourself drawn to them. This video is all about dissecting why this type of hypocrisy can be so captivating, why it feels like narcissists live by an entirely different set of rules, and how you can protect yourself from being ensnared in their web of deceit. Let's begin by unraveling the art of hypocrisy that narcissists have perfected. I'm not pointing fingers at any one individual specifically. Rather, I want to shed light on what this behavior looks like and how insidiously it can operate. Narcissists have a knack for setting high moral standards, often dictating how everyone around them should behave. Yet, in private, they frequently break all the rules they've imposed. This blatant double standard is a hallmark of narcissistic behavior and can leave you feeling bewildered and entrapped. To illustrate this, let's consider a real-life example. Often, people in relationships with narcissists might hear phrases like, "It's your fault she became so distant," or "You're the reason she can't listen anymore." Narcissists might even suggest that someone has become arrogant because of you. The harsh reality, however, is that you are not responsible for their coldness or arrogance. The truth is, you might not fully grasp why things turned out the way they did, and that's okay. It's essential to take the time to understand what went wrong and focus on healing yourself before jumping into another relationship. Doing so will help you gain clarity on past mistakes and learn valuable lessons for the future. Consider someone in the public eye who offers relationship advice, targeting men with the message that if a woman becomes cold or aggressive, it's the man's fault. This message might seem appealing to some men who could think, maybe I'm the one to blame. I should strive to be a better partner. It may also resonate with women who might believe, yes, that's right. It's his fault. This person sets a moral standard for how relationships should function, presenting a seemingly clear-cut view of responsibility. Now, let's flip the script and look at this same person in a different light. Imagine he's in a failing relationship, and once it ends, he might exclaim, "Why did you leave me with nothing?" His justification could be, "I'm living my life as best as I can. You became nagging and rude, and I know you blame me for that, but I don't agree. I wish you had approached me more gently, asking me to stop in a kind manner, maintaining the charming demeanor that initially attracted me. Once I decide I don't want to be around you anymore, you lose your leverage." Here, we see a stark double standard. In the first scenario, he's setting a high moral benchmark, suggesting that a man needs to get his act together to keep the relationship in good shape. In the second scenario, however, his behavior and attitude are inconsistent with what he preaches. He's essentially saying that if a woman criticizes or makes demands, he will resist. The gap between his preached standards and his actual behavior is glaring, revealing a classic case of double standards. To illustrate this further, imagine a situation where someone insists that to avoid criticism, all electronic devices should be shut down and everyone should comply with this demand. Or Picture a bizarre scenario where someone attempts to reconnect your original cell after transplanting it into a rabbit's body. People might believe this crazy experiment will succeed, but it won't work unless we fully understand how Wang will react to her first failure. This absurd situation highlights the challenge of grasping the inconsistencies in narcissistic behavior. Often, narcissists manipulate situations and people to their advantage, making it difficult to discern their true intentions. Think about how you might feel if someone commented on your inconsistencies in relationships, noting that you've been coming home more frequently, but still kept your opinions to yourself. On the surface, this may seem trivial, but a good friend can point out flaws in these actions. There's a peculiar reality here that becomes clear only after healing from past relationships and understanding what went wrong. This clarity allows you to recognize when similar patterns reappear. When someone demands their partner beg for basic respect and kindness, it reveals a twisted mindset. This expectation that a partner should grovel for decency is rooted in a fantasy of moral superiority. Such attitudes are unbearable and hypocritical, highlighting how some people impose moral standards on others while failing to adhere to these standards themselves. They might even brag about ending a relationship because no one begged for their kindness. Let's delve deeper into what this hypocrisy looks like in a narcissist. Picture someone who follows a strict set of rules, obeying every law because they believe it's essential. Law is a constant, something that has existed since the dawn of time, though society and politics have evolved. This behavior might be admirable when people want to make an impression, but if someone adheres to these rules merely because they are expected to, without any genuine ambition or personal conviction, they are missing something crucial. A wise observation from my first grade teacher comes to mind. You'll understand one day. The essence of this statement lies in the lack of true curiosity and empathy. Without these qualities, individuals end up with no authentic beliefs or values of their own. Their words and claimed moral standards are borrowed or mimicked from others, projecting an image that isn't truly theirs. Deep down, they don't genuinely agree with these standards, nor do they live by them. They merely echo what they think is expected of them. This brings us to an important point. Even when narcissists are cornered and have no way out, they rarely change. The reason is straightforward. They lack empathy and a solid sense of self. They don't possess core values or beliefs that guide their actions. Consequently, their statements and behaviors shift depending on their audience. I've encountered narcissistic in-laws who acted one way in public and entirely differently behind closed doors. With family, they might resort to cursing, name-calling, and belittling, fitting right into their toxic circle. Yet, with friends or allies, they transform into kind and supportive individuals, proclaiming, "You deserve love. You should be treated with respect. I'm so happy for you." This dichotomy can be unsettling. How can someone be so kind in one context and so cruel in another? The answer lies in their lack of a true self. Unlike most people who have a core identity shaping their actions, narcissists are chameleons, adapting their behavior to suit their audience. This adaptability makes them particularly dangerous, as they can easily lure you into believing their words and ideals, despite not living by them. They project these ideals to please others, but in reality, they care only about themselves. They crave attention and want you to beg for it, demonstrating a disturbing level of self-absorption. I've seen this attitude in some family members who are parents. During a casual conversation, one of them once said, "I didn't realize my words could hurt you. I didn't know that calling you names would cause you pain." They even claimed that if you had cried or asked them to stop, they would have listened. This mindset is mind-boggling. It's the same toxic mentality where you should beg for fair treatment. Such individuals are best kept at arm's length. If you don't, it's easy to get sucked into their warped moral values and start living by their standards. Before you know it, you're basing your decisions on their approval, seeking their validation, and losing yourself in the process. Let's delve even further into the implications of narcissistic hypocrisy. Imagine a scenario where a narcissist who prides themselves on their moral superiority publicly criticizes others for their lack of integrity. They might lecture about the importance of honesty and transparency, claiming that these virtues are the foundation of any successful relationship or personal interaction. Yet, when you examine their private behavior, you'll find a stark contrast. They may engage in deceitful practices, manipulate others, or distort the truth to suit their needs. This duality not only confounds those around them, but also sets a dangerous precedent, suggesting that moral standards are merely tools for control rather than principles to be genuinely upheld. The impact of such hypocrisy on relationships cannot be understated. Those who are close to narcissists often find themselves in a constant state of confusion and self-doubt. When someone preaches one thing but practices another, it creates an environment where trust is eroded and genuine emotional connection becomes elusive. Victims of narcissistic hypocrisy might question their own perceptions, wondering if they are at fault for the inconsistencies they observe. This self-doubt is a strategic ploy by the narcissist to maintain control and avoid accountability. By constantly shifting the blame and deflecting responsibility, narcissists ensure that their hypocrisy remains unchallenged and their dominance unthreatened. Furthermore, the allure of narcissistic hypocrisy is tied to the narcissist's ability to project an image of charm and confidence. Narcissists are adept at presenting themselves as ideal partners, friends, or leaders, using their charisma to mask their true nature. This projection is often so convincing that it blinds others to the underlying hypocrisy. People are drawn to their confidence and apparent competence, overlooking the inconsistencies in their behavior. This charm acts as a smokescreen, making it difficult for others to see through the facade and recognize the reality of the narcissist's duplicity. To navigate the complexities of interacting with a narcissist, it's crucial to develop a keen sense of awareness and critical thinking. Recognize that their outward charm and the high moral standards they set are often nothing more than a facade. By understanding that their behavior is driven by self-interest rather than genuine principles, you can better protect yourself from their manipulative tactics. Setting firm boundaries and maintaining a strong sense of self are essential strategies for dealing with narcissists. This self-protection not only shields you from emotional harm, but also helps to dismantle the narcissist's influence over your life. In conclusion, the mastery of hypocrisy by narcissists is both fascinating and disturbing. Their ability to preach high moral standards while living by a completely different set of rules creates a web of deceit that can entrap even the most discerning individuals. Understanding the nature of their hypocrisy and its impact on relationships is crucial for maintaining your own emotional well-being. By staying vigilant, questioning inconsistencies, and prioritizing your own values, you can navigate the complexities of dealing with narcissists and protect yourself from their damaging influence. Remember, the key to overcoming their hypocrisy lies in recognizing the disparity between their words and actions and refusing to be swayed by their superficial charm. In essence, narcissists are often hypocrites because they lack a genuine foundation. There's nothing substantial within them that anchors their actions. They merely adopt whatever values or beliefs they think will win over their audience at the moment. But in the end, they don't truly believe in these values, nor do they live by them. And if you fall into their trap, neither will you.